I thought we deserved a draw out of that, to be honest. Or am I completely biased and living in cloud cuckoo land?
I didn't think it was a penalty. I thought both players were just moving their foot towards the ball.
I thought Jones was outstanding today, actually, and he deservedly got man of the match, didn't he?
But in terms of the title, could we win the league?
All right, welcome to Talksport's Fan Network. Settle the score. I'm Stamford Chidge from the Chelsea Fancast, and we've got the lovely Jamie Storey from Liverpool. I'm kind of saying this a little bit through gritted teeth, but to be fair, Jamie, I don't think Chelsea were too bad today. I thought we deserved a draw out of that, to be honest. Or am I completely biased and living in cloud cuckoo land?
No, I think you're probably making a fair assumption. I'd say probably Liverpool probably got the rub of the green with maybe some of the decisions. I think as well. But I think overall, if it had been a draw, I don't think it would have been. I think Chelsea probably would have deserved a draw if that was the case. But I think Liverpool, with the way they performed this season, they just seem to know how to get it over the line, and that's what we obviously seen today. So as a Liverpool fan, I'll take the 3 points. Yeah,
I mean, I kind of get. I mean, to be really honest with you, I thought that we would get a draw today. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I was hoping for a win, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't get a win. But I was quite encouraged by, we were saying on Friday on the preview show, just don't go at them all the time because Liverpool will pick you off. And I thought actually our game management was pretty good. I thought we were, to a degree, fairly solid. But we also had a go at you, and I was pleased about that. We didn't go and park the bus. We didn't go, Liverpool are top, so we have to pay deference to that. We actually had a go, and as I was saying a minute ago, I thought the match was fairly even. Stupid penalty given away by Colwill, and unbelievably poor defending. I thought for Liverpool's second goal. I don't know. You might have a different view and say that it was really clever of Jones to sneak in between Tosin and James, but I thought they were asleep there.
No, I think. I'd say in the first half, it was pretty end-to-end in terms of an open game. I thought the end product was probably poor. From Chelsea's side, I think they're probably going to cause a lot of teams problems going forward. Like, they have a lot of quality. Like, Sancho's obviously starting to perform really well. Palmer's obviously the big man for Chelsea as well. And Madueke, who I'm very, very impressed by, and I think he has a lot more to offer. And he has been very good for Chelsea. But I think for the goal point of view, it was silly by Colwill, and he obviously had a nip at Salah just before that. It probably should have been a bit of caution that he just didn't want to take. Then give away a silly foul for the penalty. And then the second one, I think it probably was poor defending, but I think Salah as well, just the quality that we know he has with the pass. And then, Jones was getting into the back post. And I thought his initial touch was probably a bit poor, but he recovered well and was able to put it in on the left side of Sanchez.
It was a good finish, I think. I also think that maybe Sanchez was a bit hesitant because, of course, we also had in the first half the other penalty claim. The ref gave it as a pen, and VAR, I think, rightly overturned it because Sanchez clearly got the ball first. But he did take Jones out, having said all of that. And maybe he was a bit hesitant, but it was a good finish. I thought Jones was outstanding today, actually, and he deservedly got man of the match, didn't he? Yeah. I always think it's quite interesting. I mean, he's a homegrown player for Liverpool, and the Premier League's awash with foreign stars all over the place. There's been a lot of talk at Chelsea about we've had this much vaunted academy for several years. A few of them broke through when we had the transfer ban. And now they all seem to be wanting to sell them for profit. Yeah, I don't know. Even if it's an opposition team, it always kind of warms the cockles of my heart to see a homegrown player doing well. But he was outstanding today, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. He was very impressive. And I think for Liverpool fans, it's kind of a up and down emotions, I'd say, with Curtis Jones. Because I think he has a lot of ability. And obviously being a homegrown player as well, there's a lot of love towards him. But I think he frustrates some Liverpool fans and that maybe he doesn't make the final passes, or he takes a bit too many touches. But I think today's performance, maybe a few years ago against Leicester, before he picked up an injury, I think that would probably rival that performance. And I think they're the types of performances that we know he's capable of, which I think stems a lot of frustration with the Liverpool fans. But he was very good today, and I think deservedly man of the match.
he's one of those kind of players that, I think opposition fans love to hate. Yeah. He's very annoying. He's quite gnarly, and he gets in the way. And I personally, I love players like that. I really, really do. But, you hate him if he doesn't play for you, but you love him if he does.
Yeah, 100%. He keeps the ball ticking over. I think sometimes that's why maybe he doesn't play a final, like, the ball forward enough, and that's sometimes when Liverpool fans get frustrated. But I think today he was perfect. Like, he knew when to pass the ball forward, knew when to make the right runs, and then obviously topped it off, getting the goal as well.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we were talking on Friday about Arne Slot, and I have to say, when Klopp left in the summer, I was rubbing my hands with glee, thinking, well, that'll be Liverpool done for a few years. Jolly good, just at the right time for us to start becoming good again. But I don't know. I mean, are you as surprised as I've been about how well he's done at Liverpool? Because I mean, it's been seamless, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, I think the nucleus of a good team was there. Like, if you think about Trent, Van Dijk, I know Alisson's obviously picked up an injury. Like Salah, he's been really good. And I think overall, the worry would have been that the levels Liverpool were reaching with Klopp, maybe where he was getting a lot more out of the players than maybe what was there. Especially with like some of the maybe not so-called superstars. But I think what Slot has done really well, he's come in, and he talked about this with Sky Sports, I think, as well, in the lead up to the Chelsea game. He's not tried to change too much. He's made one or two tweaks in terms of the style of play. And I think he said it was that he didn't want to risk as much. So it's about balancing the risk and reward. I think that's what we're seeing now in terms of how they maybe not playing the long ball, which they did a lot with Klopp to try and get teams in the counter-attack. They're maybe managing it a little bit better. And we're seeing the results. I think only 3 goals conceded in the Premier League, the most clean sheets in the league. And yeah, it's obviously, we're getting the results, which is obviously a big help. So I've been impressed with him so far, but I think this next few weeks, leading up to December, we have a lot of big games. And I think that's when we're going to see the true test of what Slot can do with this team.
I mean, I don't know about you, but if I had one criticism, I would say that the difference between a Klopp side and a Slot and Slot's Liverpool now is that they don't tend to move the ball around as quickly as Klopp. I have you absolutely right. I mean, that was the great thing about a Klopp side. They were always at you, and a lot of balls forward very, very quickly. But maybe that's what he had to do because I mean, you always felt you could get at Liverpool as well.
Yeah.
Because they'd be very, very gung-ho. They'd leave gaps at the back and you could pick them off too. So, maybe he sacrificed some of that, kind of heavy metal football to be a bit more solid at the back. But it seems to be working. I mean, you're top now. I mean, do you think you're in with a realistic chance of winning the title? I know it's early days. Very Talksport to say that in October, isn't it?
Yeah, no. I think it is. How Liverpool performed last year, if we had added maybe like a Zubamendi in the summer, I think a lot of Liverpool fans would be optimistic considering how far we went. The one thing I would say is I think at the end of last season, we ran out of legs. And I think what you're saying there about like the gung-ho style of football, I think we're being a lot more methodical in terms of our build-up. We don't look as tired coming maybe towards the end of games. Now, I know Chelsea did well in terms of pushing forward, but I think Liverpool were more sitting in and just holding on for the result and being smart, which is what I think Slot wants to play. But in terms of the title, could we win the league? Listen, we're football fans at the end of the day, so I'd rather be optimistic than pessimistic. But it's still a long way to go. I think with the Rodri injury, I think has thrown a lot into like say the pot. And I think with him out, I think Man City, they don't look the same, especially like today. I was watching them against Wolves. I thought they're just Kovacic and Rodri, they're not getting the maybe same types of levels, and they'll still be there or thereabouts, but it'll be interesting to see how they manage that situation. But I think Slot, with the performances he's put in so far, the clean sheets, the defensive record, we're still getting the goals. I think any Liverpool fan should be optimistic.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, talking of surprises, I mean, I was quite surprised to see not just Reece James starting today, but also Lavia.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we all know about James. I mean, if he can get anywhere near to being the player he was before he started to get this huge run of injuries, then it'll be like signing a world-class player. Yeah. Lavia, we still just don't really know. I mean, the reason I bring this up is because obviously I know Liverpool were in for him as well, but that was only his second start for Chelsea, and he's been there just over a year now. But I thought he looked. I mean, every time he has played for us, he's looked a really good player, and he looked good again today. Clearly, he only had a half in him. But Caicedo, who got a lot of jip from Chelsea fans for the first year he was there, he's also beginning to look like the player that we spent more money than Liverpool were prepared to pay for him on. So maybe there's a good midfield in the making there. But what did you think of Lavia? And obviously Liverpool had an interest in both. Do you regret not getting them?
Yeah, well, I think it was more not the regret. We ended up just not getting them because they said no, which is a painful thing to say. Is that. Yeah, but no, I think whatever happened. The one thing I would say is that Liverpool, they managed the situation well, and I think with Lavia and Caicedo, I think Caicedo was he was one of the best players in Europe before he went to Chelsea, and I think with how Chelsea performed at the start of last season, Pochettino maybe struggled to understand the team a little bit when he first came in, but I think at the back end of last season, Caicedo started to put in a few better performances, and I think since the start of this season, he's obviously started to perform a little bit better. Lavia, on the other hand, I think he's obviously young. And the injuries last season, like his first game was against City at the start of this season, I think, and then he's been out injured again to play against Liverpool. So there are two big games. I would like to see him a bit more consistently play, but I think he has the ability there. Like Liverpool and Chelsea both coming in for Caicedo and Lavia, like that's not a there's a reason that's happening. It's because they're two good players, and I think Caicedo especially has a lot more to offer. But Maresca, in fairness, deserves a lot of credit because I didn't have Chelsea maybe pushing top four. I think obviously the signings are a bit up and down, but he hasn't played into a good style of football. Obviously, Palmer's leading the forward line, and I've been impressed with Chelsea so far this season.
It's quite a conundrum, as are Chelsea as a football club, as I'm sure you're more than aware. For most of the time since the Americans took over. Obviously, we've got this policy of only really buying people who are under the age of 25, who are, untried and tested at Premier League level. Yeah. And for most of that time, we've been sitting there saying, well, basically, most of our players are complete rubbish, and they don't, bear comparison to anybody we've had over the last 20 years. Yeah. But the reality, of course, is now, and I think actually, to be fair, the back end of last season, because people seem to forget this, but if you go back to January this year. If you just take those results into account, we would have finished in the top four. So, the makings already were there of a top four side under Pochettino. Maresco's been a real surprise to me because he's done really well since he's come in. I didn't expect that. And actually now we're all saying, do you know what? Yeah, we've got some good players here. Yeah, we're a top four side, definitely. Can see it happening. I mean, I personally think that we're a quality goalkeeper away from really, competing again. I mean, I thought Sanchez, actually, in truth, he didn't really have that many saves to make, but some of his distribution gives me the horrors. And I do think he could have done better with Curtis's goal. Yeah. So I still think we're a keeper away from being, right up there with City, Liverpool and Arsenal. But, today's performance, we were all saying before the match, this is the first kind of real test we've had this season. I don't count City at home in the first game because you can't really judge anything on the first game of the season. But this is the first kind of test we've had against a decent side, a big side. Yeah. We've got a pretty horrible run of games. We've got Newcastle United away, Arsenal at home over the next month. So I think before the next international break, we will really know where Chelsea are and whether they are really capable of getting in the top four. But I'm encouraged by what I saw today. I'm disappointed to hell. I hate losing, particularly to you lot. We've got a terrible record up there. I don't think we've won up there in the league for 10 years, which is horrible to even think about. Yeah, but, I was encouraged really by the performance. And I do think it was a bit strange, though. I'm surprised to see James and Lavia both start. They clearly only had a half in them. Yeah. And actually, weirdly, we seem to have a lot better balance when Gusto went from left back, which he is not, to right back, which he's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
But I thought tactically Maresca got it right as well against you guys too. I mean, as I said, it was a very even game. I mean, we either side wasn't tearing each other apart. There weren't that many clear-cut chances. Well, although it wasn't a boring match, by any stretch of the imagination, was it?
No, definitely not. I thought the referee was poor for both teams. I was doing a stream for the game.
I thought he was excellent, Jamie. Definitely a goal for Jackson. Definitely not a penalty. He's a brilliant referee. No, I'm joking.
I think there was the one as well with Trent in the first half, which I know some Chelsea fans will probably be talking about on Twitter. That I thought I didn't think it was a penalty. I thought both players were just moving their foot towards the ball. And I think the second Jones penalty was rightly ruled off. I think VAR obviously helped him out in that situation. So, but I think overall, I thought he lost a bit of control of the game. Like there was a lot of decisions kind of going back and forth. He started having to give out a lot of yellows. It was a bit stop start. But overall, I think Maresca, I think he did get it right. And I think teams will probably look at that Chelsea game to see how they played against them and take a bit of a thought into those games with Liverpool. But I think for Chelsea, the tough run of fixtures, Liverpool have the same. We're going to get to see a lot more about the two of them over the next few months. And I'm obviously interested to see what happens for both of them.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of mirrored in a way because you've got a similar tough run of fixtures and had a pretty easy start to the season. So, I'm a great believer in the fact that you can never really tell, really where you're at until the turn of the year when you've actually played everybody. But I agree. By the next international break, I think you and I will both know a lot more about where Liverpool and Chelsea are. But there you go. Jamie, it's been great to talk to you. I through gritted teeth, wish you the best for the season. But no doubt we may even meet again when you lot come to the bridge later on in the season.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have a few things to say in the title race. But it was lovely chatting with you, Dave, and best of luck for the rest of the season.